for a year now, year and a half now, or whatever, it seems like I'll be doing it tomorrow, as long as it's clear for me to keep doing it. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I really don't care where it goes. I don't even care if I keep doing it. Because I like my life when I'm not doing it at least as much as when I'm teaching.
And you teach very hard. In other words, your schedule is very full.
It's pretty full, yeah.
And so
it is very full.
How would you characterize that, the motivation that keeps you going and doing that? I know, I mean, you could just say, well, I wake up in the morning and I want to teach today, and so I do. But I expect that there's something else that you could name or that you could define.
I'll try. It is a difficult thing, Bob. I mean, because there's sort of a force that just impels me to do what I do, as there is a force that impels a lot of people to do what they do. People have something that impels them to have children or get married or, whatever they're doing, and it can be a consistent force. For me, this is just sort of very consistent force that really impels me to do what I do. My experience of it is, when I teach, that is my act of devotion. That's how it's experienced to me. It is, and I don't mean to sort of make it, sort of start guru talking, but it's really, in a really one sense, it's how I express the love that's inside. It's really, for me, an act of devotion. It's this truth that just seems to want to move that way. And I'm totally devoted as a human being to doing that and manifesting any way that it wants me to do it, whether it's public or private.
Would you say it's more the desire to speak the truth than it is to help others to wake up?
Absolutely. Yeah. There's nothing in me that could care less about helping others to do anything.
But if others come to you and ask ardently to be helped in the waking up process,
then every bit of help that's asked for that I can summon will come up. Do you see what? It's a
so
really...
ask and ye shall receive.
Well,
maybe.
In other words, in me there is no longer really the ability to generate an agenda, even a very high and noble agenda, like I'm really here to awaken all beings. And I'm not saying that. I don't know if everybody that's experienced what I experience would say the same thing. I don't know that. All I can report on is how it is for me. I do remember the feeling in the very powerful experience of, wow, it would be great that if everyone was to wake up to their true nature. And there was, at the very beginning, this sort of force that was just really believed that was the best thing for everybody. But as my own, I think, the realization of my own truth deepened, that just sort of fell away, of thinking of any idea that was what was best for somebody else. And so now is what I'm left with is really a devotion. What arises is a devotion to what is. So if someone says, Adya, I really want to awaken, then the devotion will respond to that. If somebody comes up to me, which occasionally they do, and they go, Adya, I just can't get excited about awakening. It seems to be what you do, but I want to know how to, talk to my husband better. What I find nowadays is the same devotion towards engaging with a person in that. It's just as powerfully there for what they want, for that, as it is if they want to.
And that's equally glorious to you, because
absolutely,
that's what is. That's what's arising.
That's right.
That's truth.
It's truth. It's it's the truth that's arising them at that moment.
I see.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it seems to me that the divine is always it's almost always, if it had a voice, it would just be saying, like, sweetheart, what do you want? I'll give it to you. Anything you want, I'll give it to you.
So you're kind of like a musician, or anybody who has an act to perform.
Yeah.
A juggler, let's say. The juggler gets up on stage and juggles because he or she can. And the musician plays because they have a song, or a bird sings because it has a song to sing.
Exactly.
So when you're up on stage giving satsang, this is truth coming through. You're singing your song.
It's a form of expression.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who talk to me, like you're sitting here, at this moment, this is my expression and this is your expression. And in the bigger truth, there's only one thing going on. So this dialogue right now is its expression. It's your and my deepest nature when we go to the one. It's expressing itself this way. And neither end of this conversation is a better expression, a deeper expression, a more expression, or a less expression.
Mm-hmm.
It's all equal expression.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to me that the ultimate just delights in expression.
You've said that one way to maintain one's spiritual experience is to tell the highest truth.
Mm.
But how do we know the highest truth so that we can tell it? So often we have conflicting inner voices, the ego, the superego, competing ideas,
Right.
the busyness in the mind.
Right. There's one way that's I think, well, for some people it's quick, for other people they still get confused. But our truth is not what's in our mind. That at the very best, what's in our mind is an interpretation of the truth. It's a political spin of the truth. The ultimate truth is beyond our mind and beyond our feeling, but as a human being, how you happen to feel at any particular moment, that's the best access to the truth in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And if someone is actually able to touch upon what they feel, not necessarily their reactive emotion, but what they feel that's not a reactive emotion, that's just the intuitive, instant felt sense. That's where I tell people, start from there.
Would you say that, of course, there's a panoply of feelings that people have.
Right.
So when you say, be in touch with your feeling, and you'll know that can be the weather vane to help you steer into the truth.
Mm.
We need an idea of which feelings are the directors, that we should pay heed to.
Right.
So I assume you're saying that when we tell the truth, that it feels better than when we tell a non-truth,
right,
or a white lie, for
right,
example.
In other words, for most people, it takes a moment. If I was to say, just stop and communicate the highest truth within you, not the most abstract, the truth that you've learned is the highest, but the highest truth within you, where thought and feeling are not contradicted. There's the highest truth within you of that moment.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? That doesn't mean that it's the truth in a universal sense. It means this is the best I can come up with at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
See, because most people are not acting from the highest truth in any moment. In fact, they're rarely acting from the highest truth in any moment.
Mm-hmm.
And even spiritual, when you talked about, like I'll tell people when they want to have an ongoing consciousness of their deepest spiritual realizations, it's one of the reasons I say, well, when you have deep spiritual realizations, you have an opportunity you actually come into a very different perspective. And if you can just start to be from that perspective, that's the deepest, most powerful thing that you can do to remain in that perspective, is to communicate and to be and to act and to do from that perspective itself. It's not that is much more important than going and sitting in a meditation corner for 3 hours a day, and then the other 21 hours a day you're not acting from your deepest integrity, from your deepest honesty. See, I think if we remove the word truth and we said to just be from your deepest honesty in any moment, that's probably a little bit less abstract for most people to connect with.
Sometimes people don't come from there, or they get confused because they're trained to be considerate and thoughtful and care about other people's feelings, and especially in Western Judeo-Christian traditions, this is seen as a lofty goal.
Right.
We want to consider others And
Right.
so we might want to tell them that their pumpkin